Hello, I am Talking Owl, the storyteller. Today's story's title is The Earl's Bride. As you must be knowing, an earl is a British man of high social rank. The story is set in the Victorian era, in the late 19th century. The soft glow of the setting sun bathed the rolling hills of Wiltshire in hues of amber and gold. Winterbourne Manor, perched regally on a hill, seemed to glow in the evening light, its tall chimneys exhaling faint wisps of smoke. Within its opulent halls, the air was filled with anticipation, for the Earl of Winterbourne, Lord Charles Winterbourne, was returning from his travels abroad. The Earl's reputation preceded him, wealthy, dashing, and adventurous, but his heart was yet to be claimed. He was the most eligible bachelor in society. Miles away, in a modest cottage surrounded by wildflowers, Miss Evelyn Harper moved quietly about her father's room. She adjusted the worn quilt on his bed and placed a cool cloth on his fevered brow. Her father, the priest of the church of the village, had fallen gravely ill, and Evelyn's days were consumed by caring for him. Despite her simple life, Evelyn was a beauty rarely seen, with chestnut hair that shimmered like silk in the sun and hazel eyes that sparkled with intelligence. But Evelyn paid little attention to her reflection, for her world revolved around duty, not vanity. The morning after the Earl's arrival, Evelyn ventured into the village market, balancing a basket brimming with freshly picked apples. As she rounded a corner, a thunder of hooves startled her, and she froze as a large black stallion emerged from the mist. Its rider was a striking figure, his tailored navy coat and polished boots hinting at wealth and privilege. He dismounted with a fluid grace, his dark hair tousled by the morning breeze. "Forgive me, miss," he said, his voice rich and melodic. He bent to gather the spilled apples, his sharp blue eyes meeting hers. Evelyn felt a jolt of recognition. This was Lord Charles Winterbourne. "There is no harm done, my lord," she replied, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Charles studied her for a moment, struck by her natural beauty and the quiet strength in her gaze. "May I escort you to the market?" "That won't be necessary," Evelyn said, her tone polite but firm. "Good day, my lord." Charles watched her walk away, her figure disappearing into the bustling market. It had been years since anyone had declined his assistance, and he found himself intrigued. That evening, Evelyn was startled to receive a visitor, a footman from Winterbourne Manor. He carried a letter bearing the Earl's seal, offering the services of his personal physician for her ailing father. Touched but cautious, Evelyn accepted the offer. A few days later, she arrived at the Grand Manor, her heart fluttering as she stepped into its marble-floored foyer. Lady Isabella Winterbourne, the Earl's younger sister, greeted her warmly. Isabella was a spirited young woman with a penchant for matchmaking, and she had already decided Evelyn was precisely what her brother needed. "Do come in, Miss Harper," Isabella said, leading her through the grand corridors. "Charles will join us shortly. You must forgive him, he is unaccustomed to punctuality." Evelyn smiled faintly, her eyes drawn to the paintings that adorned the walls, scenes of lush landscapes and portraits of the Winterbourne lineage. When Charles entered, he was surprised to find Evelyn seated by the window, sunlight framing her face like a halo. Over tea, their conversation flowed with unexpected ease, touching on literature, art, and the plight of the villagers. "Your devotion to your father is admirable," Charles said. "Few would sacrifice so much." "It is not a sacrifice, my lord," Evelyn replied. "It is love." Her words lingered in his mind long after she departed. Evelyn found herself returning to Winterbourne Manor more often, ostensibly to discuss her father's treatment but increasingly to enjoy the Earl's company. They walked together through the gardens, the late summer roses perfuming the air. One afternoon, Charles led her to a secluded spot by the lake, where the willow trees dipped their branches into the water. He spread a blanket on the grass and opened a basket filled with delicate pastries and fresh strawberries. "I hope this is not too bold," he said, watching her closely. Evelyn hesitated, then sat beside him. The tranquility of the moment, with the soft rustle of leaves and the gentle lap of water, eased her reservations. They spoke of dreams and fears, and for the first time, Evelyn glimpsed the vulnerability behind Charles's confident exterior. "Do you never tire of your adventures?" she asked. "Perhaps I have," he admitted. "Or perhaps I've been searching for something I didn't know I needed." Their eyes met, and for a heartbeat, the world seemed to hold its breath. The harvest ball was the grandest event of the season, and Lady Isabella insisted Evelyn attend. "You shall have a gown befitting a queen," Isabella declared, summoning the manor's finest seamstress. On the evening of the ball, Evelyn arrived at Winterbourne Manor in a gown of soft lavender silk, its delicate lace sleeves brushing her arms. The crystal chandeliers cast a golden light on the polished floors, and the scent of roses filled the air. Charles was captivated as she descended the staircase, her every movement graceful and composed. "You are breathtaking," he whispered as he offered her his arm. Throughout the evening, he scarcely left her side, ignoring the whispers of scandalized debutantes. When the orchestra struck up a waltz, he led her to the dance floor, his hand warm against hers. As they twirled beneath the glittering chandeliers, Evelyn felt a joy she had long thought unattainable. But the magic was shattered when Lady Penelope, a former paramour of the Earl, approached. "So, Charles," Penelope said with a mocking smile, "this is the latest object of your affections." How quaint! Evelyn's heart clenched. Excusing herself, she fled the ballroom, her vision blurred by tears. The next morning, Evelyn was gathering herbs in her garden when the sound of hooves broke the stillness. Charles dismounted from his horse, his face shadowed with regret. "Evelyn, please," he began, "don't let Penelope's words poison what we have. She speaks only from spite." "And yet, my lord," Evelyn said, her voice trembling, "how can I trust that I am not merely a diversion?" Charles stepped closer, his blue eyes earnest. "Because you make me want to be a better man. With you, I am not the Earl of Winterbourne, I am simply a man in love." Tears filled Evelyn's eyes, but they were no longer of sorrow. "And I, too, have come to love you, Charles. But I cannot live in a world of shadows and doubt." "Then let me give you the light you deserve," he said, taking her hands in his. Their engagement was announced soon after, and the village buzzed with excitement. Evelyn's quiet grace and kindness endeared her to all, while Charles's newfound humility earned the respect of even his harshest critics. Their wedding, held beneath the ancient oak tree on the manor grounds, was a celebration of love's triumph over fear. Evelyn wore a gown of ivory lace, and Charles could scarcely take his eyes off her. "You are my heart, Evelyn," he whispered as they exchanged vows. "And you are mine," she replied, her voice steady and true. As they walked hand in hand into their future, the sun broke through the clouds, bathing them in a radiant light. And so, the Earl and his unexpected bride began their happily ever after, proving that true love can bridge even the widest divides. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to press the bell icon.